My sister used my credit card for a $4,200 prom dress and called me selfish when I asked to be repaid. I found a $4,217 charge I never made, and my sister brushed it off with, "It's just prom," and, "You've got the money." When I filed a fraud report, she showed up at my door and literally told her daughter to cry so I'd cave. Then the Facebook post started, and suddenly I wasn't the victim of theft, I was the bitter uncle ruining a teenage girl's sparkle. Hi, I'm Marcus, 34, and 5 days ago, I found out my sister used my credit card to buy her teenage daughter a $4,200 prom dress. When I asked her to pay me back, she called me selfish. It started with a notification. $4,217. 89, Nordstrom. I stared at the charge like it might disappear if I blinked enough times. I hadn't shopped there, ever. My wardrobe is 90% Costco basics and company polos. I texted my sister Claire. "Hey. Weird question, did you borrow my card for something?" She replied with a gif of a cat shrugging. That's Claire. Oldest sibling, perpetual whirlwind. She's a single mom of 2 and the queen of the "you're so lucky you don't have kids" guilt trip. I'm the middle kid. No wife, no kids, just a marketing job I'm actually proud of and a credit score that deserves an award. When I called her, she picked up mid-giggle. "Oh, come on, Marcus. It's just a prom dress." My jaw actually dropped. "You spent over $4,000, she cut me off. It was on sale. Plus, Mia's senior prom only happens once. She wanted to feel beautiful. And you've got the money." That last line. That's the family motto when it comes to me. I've got the money. Therefore, I must not need it. I sat down, heart pounding, because I knew where this was going. "Claire, that card wasn't for you to use. Ever. You gave me the number years ago for the emergency tire thing. Remember? I meant, emergency like car stranded on I-95. Not, emergency like, my teenager needs to cosplay a Kardashian." She huffed. "You don't get it. You're a guy. Prom is a big deal for girls. I want her to have everything I didn't. So steal from me." It's not stealing, Marcus. It's family. That sentence. It always means, shut up and take it. I filed a fraud report with the credit card company, and yes, that meant reporting my own sister. They flagged the transaction, froze the card, and said the vendor would investigate. 2 hours later, Claire showed up at my apartment, bangs flying, kid in tow, and ready to perform. "She's devastated," Claire said, shoving Mia in front of her like a shield. We already did fittings. The tailor started adjustments. Mia looked down at her phone, not saying a word. "You're ruining prom," Claire hissed at me, like I'd punched her daughter in the corsage. I said one sentence, "You need to pay me back." She blinked, like the concept had never occurred to her. "Why are you being like this?" she snapped. "You don't even like nice things. You live like a monk. What's $4,000 to you?" I stared at her, stunned. It's not about the money. It's about respect. Don't start with that moral high horse crap. And then, Claire, my own sister, told her daughter to cry. Like, out loud, instructed her. "Show him how much this means to you, Mia." Mia didn't cry. She looked up and whispered, "I told you not to use his card." That hit like a slap I wasn't expecting. Claire flushed bright red. "Fine," she snapped. "We'll figure it out without you." And they left. But that wasn't the end. Not even close. 2 days later, I got tagged in a Facebook post by my Aunt Sharon. A photo of Mia in the dress, still with the tailor pins in, with the caption, "My beautiful niece deserves the world. Don't let bitter people ruin your sparkle." The comments were a masterclass in passive aggression. Some people forget what family means. Girls only get one prom. Glad she got her dress after all. Claire had clearly started spinning a new version of events. In her story, I wasn't the victim of credit card fraud. I was the evil uncle who tried to destroy prom. My mom even called. Not to ask if I was okay. To ask if I could, just let it go. She's your sister, Marcus. It was for Mia. You do make more than she does. I also don't steal. She didn't steal, she just didn't ask first. That's literally the definition of stealing. You're blowing this way out of proportion. I hung up. Which I don't do. Ever. But something cracked in me that day. Not from the money. From the way they all talked to me like I was the villain for setting a boundary. That night, I got a Venmo request from Claire. For $17.89, the note said, gas from coming to your place. Since you're doing finances now. I didn't even respond. But I did do one thing. I took every family member who'd commented on that post, even the ones who just liked it, and removed them from my Netflix, Hulu, and Disney Plus accounts. Then I changed the passwords. Petty? Maybe. But it was the first time in years I'd actually stood up for myself instead of being the geezy one. The next morning, Claire called, furious. You locked us out of Netflix. Mia's in tears. You mean again? Marcus, she's having a really hard time right now. She's stressed about prom. You're making it worse. I'm not the one who dropped $4,000 I didn't have on a dress I couldn't afford and then expected someone else to clean it up. Claire went quiet. Then she said, you've always thought you were better than us. I laughed, not mean, just tired. No, Claire. You've just always expected me to clean up your messes. And now I'm not. That night, I got a text from Mia. Just one sentence, I'm sorry. And that got to me. Not the tantrums, not the guilt, not the financial slap in the face. That one quiet apology from a kid who knew better than her mom. It almost made me cry. But the next day, things escalated. Claire wasn't done. Friday afternoon, I got a letter at work. Like, an actual printed letter. Legal stationery. Claire had sent me a formal request for financial compensation due to emotional distress caused by malicious withdrawal of prom support. I laughed out loud in the middle of the office. My coworker Jamie leaned over the cubicle wall and said, "Dude, are you getting sued by your family?" Apparently. The letter wasn't real. It was a template she found online and filled out with a glitter pen, because yes, she signed it, Claire B. Prom Mom Extraordinaire, and then added a post-it that said, "We can still make this right." I took a photo and sent it to my mom. She replied, "She's just overwhelmed. You know how she gets. Just pay her back for the alterations at least." No. Nope. Not this time. I was still seething when Mia messaged me again. This time, longer. Uncle Marcus. I'm really sorry for what my mom did. I didn't ask for the dress. I actually liked the cheaper one. She wanted to prove something. I'm embarrassed. I'll try to pay you back someday. I stared at the message. Then stared at the balance on my card, which I still hadn't fully paid off because the dispute was pending. And then something in me, some long-dormant survival instinct, flared up. I wasn't going to let this slide. I logged into my bank and pulled every Venmo, Zelle, and PayPal transfer I'd sent Claire over the past 10 years. Every, just until Friday, every, school supplies, and rent help. It totaled over $26,000. I organized them into a PDF. Added a cover sheet. Prom dress, full context. Then I printed it and mailed it to my parents. Claire. And, for fun, Aunt Sharon, the family gossip bulletin board. I didn't write a cover note. Just the title and the total. The response came within hours. Claire texted me one word, unbelievable. Mom called. I let it go to voicemail. Then she texted, maybe it's time we all took a breath. Then, radio silence. Until Monday morning. Mia showed up at my apartment. Alone. She was standing outside my door in a hoodie 2 sizes too big and sneakers that looked like they'd been stepped on by a horse. Mia. 16. Prom bound. Backpack slung over one shoulder and the other clinging to a garment bag. "I took the dress back," she said. I blinked. "You, what?" "I went to Nordstrom. Told them it was fraud. Said my mom used your card without permission. They refunded it. Well, most of it. I didn't know whether to hug her or call child services. I took the bus," she added. "Mom doesn't know I'm here. She thinks I'm at Sarah's." I stepped aside. "You want water, food, a lawyer?" She snorted. "A ride home in a few hours. Maybe a different home. She's been nuts lately." I poured her a Sprite and listened while she talked. Really talked. About how Prom had become this weird pressure cooker. Her mom wanted her to go viral on Instagram. Said it would show everyone how far they'd come. As if Claire's identity now depended on Mia's outfit being a grand slam. I told her I wanted the green one, Mia said. The $300 one. She called it cheap. Then used your card. My throat tightened. Not because of the money, not anymore, but because of the damn pattern. The way Claire had made her daughter the vessel for her own validation. Just like she did to me. The way she framed theft as generosity. Guilt as love. I sat on the couch next to Mia and said the one thing I knew she needed to hear. You don't have to perform to be loved. Not by me. She looked down at her lap, tears sliding silently off her cheeks. You're the first adult to say that to me. We spent the afternoon eating leftover pizza and scrolling through prom dresses online that didn't cost the same as a used Corolla. Mia picked out a navy blue one for $180. Classy. Simple. She smiled. This one's actually me. I paid for it, with my own card this time, and said, my gift. No strings. No leverage. When I drove her home, she said, I don't want to live there forever. I nodded. When you're ready, I'll help. Claire didn't say anything for 3 whole days. Then came the explosion. She showed up in full drama mode. Claire. On my doorstep. No warning. Sunglasses on despite it being 7 p.m., holding a Starbucks cup like it was a mic she was about to drop. I cannot believe you're trying to turn my daughter against me, she said before I could even say, hi. I leaned against the doorframe, arms crossed. She turned in the dress. You know that, right? She waved her hand like that was irrelevant. You think you're so righteous because you have money and no kids. You don't understand what it's like. To be a parent? No, I said. But I do know what it's like to be parentified. To be the one cleaning up messes that aren't mine. Since I was 15, Claire. Her jaw locked. She tried to find a new angle. You embarrassed me. That spreadsheet? You send it to Sharon? Nope, I said. I send it to you, Mom, and Dad. Sharon must have been one of the people you complained to. You know, the same way you made me the villain on Facebook. Claire's voice started to shake. You're just mad because I used your card. No, I snapped, stepping forward, I'm mad because you used my life. You've been treating me like your personal emergency fund for a decade. And every time I said nothing, you took it as permission. She stared at me. Eyes wide. Not shocked. Just caught. Even Mia sees it now, I added. You're not mad I won't pay. You're mad the story doesn't work anymore. You think you're better than me. No. I think I'm done being worse off because of you. That's when she tried to cry. Not real tears. The kind of forced sobs she used to get out of speeding tickets. She's my baby, Marcus. I wanted her to feel special. And you could have done that without stealing. Are you seriously choosing her over me? I blinked. Claire. She's your daughter. She didn't like that answer. She turned on her heel, stomped down the stairs, and shouted over her shoulder. Enjoy your sad, childless little life. I didn't respond. But that night, Mia texted me a picture of her in the navy blue dress. Under it, the message, I feel like myself. Thank you. I saved it. Then I did one last thing. I wrote Claire one last email. No anger. No drama. Just bullet points, because that's apparently how I function best now. Subject: boundaries. Claire. You are not authorized to use my cards, accounts, or identity in any form. Any further attempts will result in formal legal action. Mia is welcome in my life. You are not, unless you come with an apology and changed behavior. Not performative regret. Not a sob story. Real change. Until then, we're done. Marcus. I CC'd nobody. I sent it and archived it, like clearing a file I never wanted in the first place. And that was it. At least from me. She didn't reply. But 3 days later, my mom called and, for the first time in her life, didn't take Claire's side. I didn't know it had gotten this bad, she said. I'm sorry, Marcus. I didn't say it's okay. Because it wasn't. But I said, thanks for saying that. Then she asked, hesitantly, Mia, is she okay? She's good. Really good, actually. She's figuring things out. Do you think she'd want me at prom pictures? I smiled. Ask her. Don't assume. That night, Mia texted me, Grandma asked if she can come. I told her yes if she brings cookies and no advice. I laughed out loud. Prom came and went. Mia wore that navy dress like it was made for her. She sent me a selfie with her date, awkward in a tux, all braces and nervous smiles, and a note that said, this was enough. You gave me enough. That wrecked me in the best way. Because that's all I ever wanted growing up. Someone to say, you don't owe me your piece for my approval. A month later, Mia asked if she could crash at my place over the summer. Claire was working through stuff, and Mia didn't want to be part of the fallout. I said yes. She arrived with one duffel bag, a stack of books, and a list of things she wanted to learn: how to budget, how to cook something besides microwave quesadillas, how to spot red flags in people who smile too much. We made a whiteboard schedule. We meal prepped. We laughed. She got a part-time job at a bookstore. I picked her up late one night, and she said, today a customer asked if you were my dad. I said no. But you're the reason I trust adults again. I nearly drove off the road. Here's what I've learned. Sometimes family isn't who raised you. Sometimes it's who repairs what others broke. Love isn't guilt in a glitter envelope or financial manipulation dressed up as sacrifice. Love is quiet, steady, and says no when it has to. Love keeps receipts and still holds out hope. Claire and I. We're still not talking. Not really. But I heard she's in therapy. That's something. And Mia? She's applying to colleges. One of her essays is titled, The Year I Took the Dress Back. She showed it to me last week. I cried in a Target parking lot while eating a soft pretzel. Because I'm not her dad. I'm just her uncle. And that was enough to change her story. That's all I ever wanted.